हो. Guys, let's give like few more minutes for everyone to join, then we can start, okay? Hello, everyone. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Am I audible, guys? Yeah, cool. So yesterday we went through integration testing, I guess. Before that, let's do a quick Q&A. If you guys have any questions around any of the topic previously, then I'll fire some questions to you guys as I have priorly like informed you guys. We'll do one round of analysis, how you guys are understanding things, and then we'll start with the rest of integration testing. Okay. So any questions before we start?
Sir, can you explain again yesterday's data flow?
Data flow part? Sure. Yeah.
Yes.
So basically, yesterday what we tried, what we understood, right? Basically, in order to make a full software, like end to end, if you try to make a complete software, it will be combination of multiple features, right? For an example, multiple modules or multiple features. For an example, if we have the software, right, we have amount transfer, amount balance, loan, transaction, and logout, right? So in order to basically make this whole software, we would need all these particular modules, and also all these particular modules will need to be communicative with each other. how it needs to be communicative. For an example, if this amount transfer module is transferring some sort of amount, for an example 1,000 rupees, that data needs to be transferred to amount balance, so that amount balance should be shown correctly. It should deduct that 1,000 rupees which you have transferred to other person, and it should show you the accurate account balance. Similarly, whatever transaction you have made, what the transaction detail needs to be shown under transaction tab. So amount transfer needs to send some sort of data to transaction, and transaction needs to reflect that data, correct? So the basic idea is that wherever you feel like according to the functionality, there is some sort of data transfer. Basically, it will be there in the application, not for all the modules, but for certain modules, depending upon the logic, right? So basic idea is that depending upon what is the functionality and what is the logic, one module will send the data to another module. So in order to do integration testing, you need to test whether that particular data is being transferred properly or not from first module to another module. For an example, we talk about here, right, amount transfer and transaction. When you do like enter the data here, for an example, this is from account number, so you'll enter in a account number, from which account number you have to transfer the data, transfer the money. And then the second two account number, you'll enter one more account number to whom you have to transfer the data. Then comes amount, what amount you need to transfer. You'll click on transfer, right? And it will definitely do what, transfer that amount. Now this all data needs to be reflected in transaction. So amount transfer will send the money, and this data it will transfer to transaction module, and transaction module will basically consume that data and show that particular data in a proper format, correct? So as a integration testing, what you need to do, you will have to go to the first module, you have to create and send the data. Once you send the data, go to the second module and you need to check whether the data is properly being received or not. Are we clear,
Yes, sir.
everyone? What about
Yes,
others?
yes, sir.
Cool.
Yes, sir.
So now if we basically talk about this, right, this happens, the data transfer happens with the help of interface. That's what the definition is saying. Definition is saying testing, integration testing means basically testing the data flow and the interface. Now interface, what exactly an interface is? If you talk about in the programming language, it is a basically a program itself which will help interacting or sending the data from one module to another module. If you want to understand it in a general way, you can understand it as a bridge. There will be a there will be a interface implemented between these two modules, amount transfer and amount balance. That interface will act as a bridge for these two modules. Whatever data needs to be transferred, it will go from the bridge itself. Now that bridge is not tangible, you can't see that bridge, you can't see that interface program, right? So in order to make sure that program, that bridge is working fine, what you will do, you will go to first module, you'll send the data, you will go to second module, you'll check whether the data is being received or not. If you, this is the very generic way, right? If you need to check a live bridge also over a particular river, so if you need to test that bridge, what you will do, you'll ask someone to cross that bridge. If that person reached other corner properly, you can make sure that your bridge is working fine, correct? So the basic thing is that in the similar way, basically, if you want to check this software bridge interface, basically, so you need to send the data from one end and check whether that data is being received at other end or not. If it is being received, obviously means that bridge is working fine. Got the understanding, guys?
Yes.
Cool. So let's start with question and answer, or do anyone have any other questions regarding software testing, functionality testing, any other type of testing? Okay, so let's start with question and answer. We do have like 25 folks. We'll start one by one. Akhilesh Kumar, can you tell me what is software testing? I think he went off or something. Where is Akhilesh? Okay, no issues. Anjali, can you tell me what is software testing? Anjali, you there?
Software
thing is that we'll have to test something it's working properly or not before giving to the user or client. If
Mhm.
we are working some company, so we'll have to check uh, it before giving it to client key any feature or any something which is not giving error or bugs. So we'll previously test it before giving it to client.
Okay. So Anjali, you're pretty much correct. But I would say that if you go with the definition, no, it will be more groomed, more beautified. Okay. Whenever we used to explain something right in our own words, we need to think of the words. That's why we give you definitions and all. As a definition will explain accurate meaning of that particular topic, and it will also like help you beautify your explanation. So please like try to, if it's for everyone, please try to basically try to go with definition first, and if after that if you want to explain in your own words the definition, yeah, or the example that is justified, you can do that. Okay.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Thank you. So
Yes, sir.
anyone else have like proper definition of software testing?
Yes, sir.
Yes, please go ahead.
Sir, verifying the functionality of an application against the requirement.
Correct, exactly. Against the requirement specification is called software testing. Aradhya, Soni, can you tell me what are the types of testing we do have?
Sir, integration testing, smoke testing, unit testing, functional testing,
Okay,
and ad hoc testing.
correct. Yeah, there are many, right? If you talk about about it in that depth, like individual type of testing, there will be a lot more. But if we generally justify it in two types, we used to, right? First one is black box testing, other one is white box testing, correct?
Yeah, sir.
So you can explain in that way, like, there are two types of testing, and first one is black box testing, other one is white box testing. White box testing is done by developer. Here they basically test each and every line of program, and each single line is basically you can consider it as a unit of that particular program. That's why it is also called as unit testing. Then coming up to black box testing is similar to what we used to call, right, software testing. Basically here we verify the functionality of an application against a requirement specification, and basically here we have a lot more types under it. For an example, functionality integration system, ad hoc regression, smoke, sanity, etc, etc. Okay. So yeah, this is the bifurcation. Thank you. Then comes Chitti. Apurva, can you tell me what is functionality testing? Apurva, you there? Okay, let's go to other person. Paramjeet, can you tell me what is functionality testing? I'll just randomly pick people. It's not possible to pick like somewhere around 25 people are there, right? So it's not possible to pick everyone. Okay. Paramjeet, are you there? Can you tell me what is functionality testing? Okay. Prachi, what is functionality testing? Prachi, you there? Cool. Shubhalakshmi, can you tell me what is functionality testing? Am I audible, guys?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. So I will say,
Okay, go ahead, please.
sir, it is a type of testing where we can say that the features that we have added in the application is working properly or not.
Now, when you say feature, no, feature are at different level. I'll tell you. For an example, if you try to transfer an amount, that whole module can be considered as a feature, or individual thing can be considered. Group of components also can be considered as feature. So it's like a bare
Yes.
minimum to mention component in place of
Yes.
that particular feature. Why? Because The person who is trying to understand your definition might get it in a different way. Getting my point?
Yes,
Cool.
yes, sir. So the components will be as per the requirements. If it is working properly, then it is called as a functionality.
Basically, which are the behavior of the application, I
Correct.
guess.
Correct. So what is component? Can anyone explain?
It's a kind of feature through which the user interacts.
Okay, cool.
Sir, the
So
radio buttons, text fields and all.
these are the examples. Yeah, correct. Okay, cool. So so basically whenever you are testing any component, how exactly you need to start deriving the scenarios? Is there any answer for that from everyone, from anyone?
According to the requirements.
Okay, cool. So when you start deriving the scenarios, do you think of what do you think? Like basically, what is the initial step in your mind when you start deriving the scenario? Can you jot down the steps? Basically, when you get the requirement, what is the first thing you do, and when you derive the requirement, what is the procedure exactly?
Sir, we enter the data in the website and check whether the requirements are meeting or not.
Okay, that is proper testing. I'm talking about the scenario derivation.
Sir, if the
Anyone?
requirement is like 6 to 32 characters would be there in password text field. So we have to derive different scenarios according to that requirement. Like we have to test once with a character with 7 or 8 numbers, again with less than 6 numbers, again with more than 32 numbers. Those are the scenarios.
Okay, cool. So I can note down, I can jot down the procedure for you guys. First of all, we'll go through the requirement. We'll try to understand the requirement. And once we are done with understanding the requirement, we might get some sort of doubts in the requirement. So we'll raise it to the business analyst or development team or the testing lead. Okay. Once we are clarified with the requirement, we'll start deriving the scenarios. We'll start deriving positive scenarios first. Scenarios for positive testing first means for what exactly which is mentioned in the requirement, the positive flow of that particular functionality. Okay. So if the requirement is saying the text field should accept 6 to 32 character, you will first of all try to derive scenario with a valid set of data, means somewhere in between 6 to 32. Then you'll start deriving negative scenarios, and whenever you are trying to derive negative scenarios, you will first think of your basically user's perspective, then your perspective, basically tester's perspective, and then you try to derive scenario in such a way so that you can find maximum number of bugs. Once you're done with scenario derivation, you will document it. You will call that document usually a test case. So basically test case, that particular test case you'll document, and you'll get it reviewed by other person. Basically the reviewer will be assigned from your test lead side itself. So you'll be assigned to a person who will review your test case. You'll give that particular test case to that particular person, the reviewer will review your test case, and finally you'll get the approval. Only if you get the approval, you are eligible to execute the test case, basically do the testing depending upon those documents, depending upon those scenarios. Got the understanding? Everyone clear with the process?
Yes, sir.
Cool.
Yes, sir.
Now coming up to integration testing. Integration testing, basically we already covered a bit in the starting of this session. Integration testing is basically testing the data flow and the interface of the modules, and more than 2 modules. I'll give you one more example. Why this definition is not that accurate, I'll tell you. It is saying that modules are the individual like bunch of features, right? Which is, if you talk about 2 modules, that might be chances these 2 module doesn't have any relevant feature in it, but there might be chances if there is one module itself. Under that one module you will have a data flow, and you need to test that data flow. You need to do the integration testing between that data, between that component also. So I'll give you one example, right? We all are fond of filling the forms, online forms and all, right? Even if like you go to Amazon or something like that, in order to get deliver your package, you need to fill up your address, correct? Yes, no, anything guys?
Yes.
So basically earlier like 20s, we used to fill up the forms, right? And we used to fill up the address. We need to fill everything, right? We need to fill our district, we need to fill our state, then we need to fill our lane and all, and then we need to give also the pin code, correct? The pin code usually that time at the bottom of that particular page, and then you have to submit that. But nowadays, if you carefully see, the functionalities get changed. When you, if this pin code thing comes at the top of that particular address section, and if you fill up the pin code, it will auto populate the state and district, correct? Depending upon the data, correct? Have you seen this?
Yes, sir. No, sir.
No, you haven't seen this. Okay, so basically, but let's try to show you that if Amazon has that particular functionality, we'll try to see. I don't want to reveal my location to you guys, but yeah, let's try to do that. Okay, sign in. Not sign in. We need to say, we need to just give the address, right? Select address. This, it is asking for pin code. Let's give a random pin code. 492001, and then apply. It's also already taking, it's not asking you for the district and name, right? It's populating Raipur, and Raipur is basically from Chhattisgarh. Getting my point? So what I'm
Yes,
trying to
sir.
explain here is, when, like, usually you'll get the form and all, right? Basically if I've been signed out here, signed in here, it will show me that state and every, like, the detailed address of mine. So basic idea is that if assuming this, it is asking a pin code here, and then below it will have a state and then district field. So as soon as you give the pin code and apply, the state and the district field will auto populated. And basically, if you can carefully see here, right, this pin code and the state and district field has an integration. How it is it is having an integration. As soon as you give the data, according to that data, it is populating the state and district, correct? So how that state and district particular fields will get to know that what data needs to be populated until this pin code will tell. So if pin code has to tell, basically it means it has to send some data here in order to display the correct state and district at below, correct? No,
Yes.
yes.
Yes, sir.
So the basic idea is that what I'm trying to explain you here is, in order to do the integration testing, there might be chances you are doing it with two different modules. For an example, this landing page and this card. You want to do integration testing. You are basically adding a particular product, to the cart. This is landing page. I just add to the cart, and once I add to the cart, it will start reflecting in the cart. So basically, I send the data, this particular data, from landing page, and I received it at the cart. So here I'm doing integration testing between two different modules, but as we can see it here from the address thing also, it is possible within one module. This one module is delivered to, on what we call it as address. In that particular module itself, we have seen that there is an integration between the component. So it is not mandatory every time. In order to do the integration testing, you need two different modules. If it is in this way, within one module, you are capable of doing integration testing depending upon what is the functionality of the software. Got it?
Yes.
Cool.
Okay.
Now coming, yeah. Any questions still here? No? Yes? So yesterday I have given one assignment, right? Have you guys went through that assignment and done the assignment? Anyone?
Yes.
Can you share it in the group?
Yes.
Cool. Which website or application you picked?
SBI online.
Oh, SPI. Okay. Thanks. So there is a sender module and receiver module. Okay, first one is login to user account. Yeah, correct. As soon as you give the credential, your user ID and password in the login page, everyone can open that particular assignment which is there in the group. Please, we'll start once everyone have it open. Is it open?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Now what exactly is happening here? We are trying to note down what is the sender module which is sending the data and what is the receiver module, because in order to do the integration testing, the initial step is to identify which all module has the data flow. Until and unless you are not able to identify, okay, these two module has the data flow, you can't do integration testing on it, right? You can't prioritize it. Okay, these two module needs to be done, or these two module not need not to be done, right? Because it is not mandatory every module will have data flow. So some of the module, for an example, compose from Gmail and logout, these two module doesn't have any kind of data flow. So if it is not having any kind of data flow, obviously you will not do integration testing on it. But those who have, for an example, compose and send item, these two module has the data flow, so that time you need to do the integration testing in between them. Okay, cool. So basically this exercise is to make sure that you are identifying the data flow properly so that you can proceed with integration testing. Okay, so first one is sender and second one is receiver module. And basically first example is login to user account. As soon as the user gives the user ID and password, the relevant user account detail will be populated in user account feature. That is one data flow. If I'm logging with ABC and he's having 3,000 rupees in his account balance, he should be able to see in the account balance 3,000 rupees. If I'm logging to a different user, his name is Rajesh or something like that, the user account feature should show basically Rajesh in place of the name. Okay, similar user detail needs to be populated. Then log into transaction summary. Obviously, if you are trying to log in with a certain user which has a lot of transaction summary, you should be able to see all the transaction summary in here. Or else if there is a certain user which is not having any kind of transaction and you are logging with that user, you should not be able to see. So definitely there will be a data transfer. Okay, then fund transaction and check balance. So once you are, this is a similar thing, right? Amount transfer and transaction thing. Once you do transfer the amount from the fund transaction, and that data will be transferred to check balance. Basically whatever amount is being transferred, that needs to be deducted from balance. Okay, then transaction summary and check balance, similar functionality. Once you do the transaction, that details needs to be displayed under transaction. Fourth one is logout doesn't have any data flow, I guess, right? Is it having any kind of data flow or not having any kind of data flow? What do you say? What do you say, guys?
Not having any data.
Okay, but I'll give you one hint here. Whenever there is something called as analytics in every application, analytics analyze what all user usually taps where and interact where in the application. So for an example, it's usually used in streaming platforms, your social media applications and e-commerce website. What they do, every time you tap on certain sections, they used to catch your analytics, how many times you tap on that particular section or what kind of content you are tapping on. So they catch that analytics so that they can show you the relevant content and they can engage you more in their application. So whenever you try to log in and then you log out, as soon as you log out, there is a data transfer to the backend of that analytics basically function, and that function tries to analyze how much time you spend on the application once you log out. So if it is a website, so they will definitely try to catch that analytics. So logout will send data, but it will not send data to any other module. It will send the data to a program, analytics program. Okay, just a hint, you can't test that. Analytics team will test. There is a specialized team for that, they will test it. But yeah, there is some data transfer. Okay,
Yes.
cool. So let's move on this. Now, once you're done with analyzing, I'll give you one rough idea of how to write test case. Because if you derive scenarios like this, right? Compose to send item, and you're just writing in one liner, like I'll check compose of I'll check whether the mail is being delivered to inbox of other user once I compose and send a mail to that particular user. So this way you will explain your testing, right, in one line or something like that. So there might be chances who is knowing this particular website will be able to execute. But for an example, you went through the requirement, you derived the scenario, but you went on PTO after that. Okay, you went on holiday after that, and some other person needs to execute those scenarios. So if other person is executing those scenario, that person might not be able to understand your language or your high level description. That person needs a detailed description. That person needs everything step by step, because he is not owner of that particular feature. And now if we are taking the example of popular things, right? Gmail, Paytm, so that you guys get the understanding. But when you will go to the organization and you will test an application, that application will not be live basically most of the time, and you are not familiar with that application. You will be not knowing that which feature will be situated where, under which module it will come. So basic idea is that if thinking about that person who is going to execute the scenario, just seeing your high level one liner description, do you think that particular person who doesn't have even understanding of the software, that particular module, he'll be able to execute the test case, he will be able to do the testing? What do you think? Obviously he will not, right? He or she will not be able to do that, as you are not telling where that feature is, how, what action he needs to perform, and what should he validate, correct? Getting my point?
Yeah.
So for that, we used to create, depending upon the scenarios we derive, we used to create something called as test case. So what is a test case? Test case is a step-by-step document which will cover multiple scenarios. Whatever scenarios we have derived, there might be chances we are covering 4 or 5 of it all together under one test case. So what is test case? Test case, as I said, it is a step-by-step documentation. For an example, we take just one scenario. We are trying to do the integration testing between Compose and Inbox. What we need to do, we need to compose a mail from one mail ID, and we need to send it to another mail ID, and from another mail ID we need to log in, and we need to check whether that mail is there or not. If the mail is there in a proper format, the test is complete, the test is passed, or else the test is failed, correct? This is how you do the integration testing between these two. Yes, no, anything?
Yes, sir.
Correct. Yeah. So basically, we need to document a test case for that. So how usually we document the test case? We document in this way. It's a high level format for now of the test case. Test case format will have a lot more things. But for initial days, I want you guys to follow this format. Okay, as this is the core of the test case. Okay. First column is basically your step number. You will just number the steps. Second one is action or description. Basically these particular column will contain what exactly the tester needs to do on application, perform on application. So basically if I say that do test whether that username text field is working fine or not, so you will say that I will test with this data, I will test with that data. So that those testing with this and that is basically an action to the application, right? The tester needs to open the application and enter the data, correct? That action, all of those actions will be noted down under action or description. And depending on that action, for an example, there is an example here, right? Open the browser, enter the URL www.gmail.com and click on go button. Now this is the action, and depending on this particular action, we have written an expected result. What is the expected result here? When you do this action, welcome page needs to be displayed, or login page needs to be displayed. The basic idea is that this is coming from basically your requirement itself, right? If I do this particular action, what should be the reaction of the software? That will be coming from your requirement itself. So it is pretty much depending upon what action the user needs to give, and also what requirement is saying what should happen depending upon that action. Okay, got it? Till
Yes.
here? Cool. Now coming up to the second, third, and all these steps. Basically, once you do this, your welcome page will appear, and then the action we need to perform is login with user A by entering valid email ID and password and click on sign in button. Once you do this action, what should be the reaction of the software or expected result for us? The expected is basically home page should be displayed. Once you you have got the home page, click on compose link. Compose page should be displayed. Enter B's email ID to text field. Basically, to text field is basically to is usually you get that right, to whom you want to send the mail. So that to text field, basically you need to enter the B's email ID and all the necessary details there, and click on send button. Once you're done with the send button, confirmation page should be displayed. Okay, once you send this once you're done with this and send hit on send button, what should the expected behavior? Expected behavior, as soon as you do that, confirmation page needs to be displayed. Now log out from user A, log in from user B, and test and click on sign in button. Once you log out, you'll see home page again, and once you log in, you'll see once you log out, you see welcome page again, and once you log in with B, you will see B's home page, and then you have to click on inbox link. Inbox page should be displayed. Under that inbox page, A's email should be displayed, isn't it? So if you tell me, you only tell me one thing. If I have written the steps in this way, what do you think? Even the person who doesn't know anything about the software, he'll be able to execute this test case or not? He'll be able to test the software or not?
Yes, sir.
Everyone would be, right? So even you give it to the random person, you give the application and you just explain the high level functionality of that particular application, that person will be able to validate everything as we are giving the actions, also the expected result for that action. So basically, the person who is getting this particular kind of document, the test case, that person would be able to execute even though he doesn't have any understanding of the requirement. We are giving the expected result here itself, what should happen, and even though he doesn't know anything about the application, it's very step by step, wherein you need to, how to reach that particular feature, what to do in that particular feature, and what should be validate as part of testing. So this is something called as test case. So you guys need to practice this, right? How to document a proper test case. It's a very important job of a tester to know how to document a test case, a proper test case. Okay, everyone got that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Now coming up to the next part of integration testing. Now integration testing, we do have some types under it, or you can also call it as approaches of doing integration testing. Okay, first one is incremental integration testing. Second one is non-incremental integration testing. So basically, this is as I said, these are the approaches of doing it. Basically, for an example, if I tell you, right, you have to do 6 work in a day. I'll give you 6 assignment or 6 work today. You need to pick a kid from from a school, and then you need to get a laundry done. Then you need to do what? Then you need to, for an example, pick a particular relatives from the railway station, and then you need to buy the groceries. Then you need to basically buy the clothes, and so on, like few more work, right? Now you can either do it in a random way, right? Either do it in unorganized and random way. You first go to the grocery, then you went to the station, then you again go to the shopping mart to buy the clothes and all. So you can either do it in a random way, you just try to complete the work one by one, but don't prioritize it. Or you can either do one thing, you can have all 6 work on your plate. You can prioritize, okay, first I need to do this. As train will arrive at early morning, I will first pick up my relatives, Then I will do what? I will do the laundry. Then I will go to the shopping mart to get the groceries. After that itself, I'll do what? I will try to get the clothes as it is there itself, and then after that I'll pick the kid from the school. Getting my point? There are two approaches, basic two approaches of doing anything, right? Either you do it in a random way, unorganized way, and secondary, you do it in a prioritized way, correct? Yes, no,
Yes,
anything,
sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
So incremental integration testing is basically that only. Incremental integration testing is basically a prioritized way of doing integration testing, and non-incremental integration testing is an unprioritized way of doing integration testing. I'll tell you one. I'll tell you one example. For suppose these are the modules A, B, C, D, E, F, G, something like that. For an example, A is compose, D is inbox, F is all mails, G is search mails, something like that. So if you are following non-incremental integration testing, you will hop from one particular module to another module. You will first do compose to inbox, then inbox to search mail, then search mail to all mail, something like that. So you will not prioritize, okay, I need to do this too, and then do this too, and then do this too. You will not prioritize it. You will just randomly hop from one feature to another feature and try to complete the integration testing. Got the approach, guys? Any questions regarding this? Yes, no?
Sir,
So
please
can you
repeat again.
explain it? Yes.
Yeah. So basically, when you do non-incremental integration testing, what it is saying? Here we combine all the module. We are considering whole software all together, and we are trying to do integration testing all at one shot. All at one shot means basically you are doing what? You are trying to do the integration testing from A to D, D to F, F to J, J to something. Basically, compose to inbox, inbox to something, all mails, always to search mails, something like that. You're not prioritizing things. What is prioritizing? I'll tell you. Now, for an example, these all features we do have, right? Compose, inbox, send item, draft, all this. So if I am prioritizing thing, I'll prioritize in this way. First of all, I will do test, compose, and send item. Then I'll test compose, then send item to all this. Why I'm not going with compose and inbox? Because in order to test the inbox, I need to log out from here and log in from another particular login ID in order to test it, right? Why am I doing send item after compose, just after with compose for the very first time? Why? Because within being in this particular mail ID, I can test send item. And if I'm doing in this way, let's take this three in order to understand the prioritization. We have three modules: compose, inbox, send item, right? So if we try to test in this way, first compose to inbox means I need to do what? I need to compose a mail, send it to, let's say, B, and then once I am done with this, I'll do what? Log out from A, log in as B, and try to test whether mail is being received in inbox or not. Correct? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Correct. Now again, if I need to test send item from compose, I need to log out from here and then again log into here and try to do what? Try to test what? Try to test the send item from here. Getting my point? So basic idea is that this will do an additional step in your execution. When you're writing a test case like this will have an additional steps which will consume more time under testing, under execution. Getting my point? So if you are trying to test a bunch of feature, it's bare minimum, it's recommended to try to prioritize things and try to minimize the number of steps. Okay.
Yes.
So basically, you understood, you all understood, right? What is prioritization? Yes, no?
Yes.
So
Yes, sir.
Yeah, likewise we have done in our day-to-day life things, right? With that real-time example, I have explained that if you have 5 works, you will prioritize that depending upon their basically what will be the availability and what will reduce your amount of work. Correct? The same way we are doing it here. If I do test compose and inbox first, that will enhance my number of steps. Basically, that will enhance my work and that will enhance my execution time. Basically, time investment will also be high. It is just a small example of logging in and logging out. But if you are writing a good number of test case, a huge test case, basically that time, the time will be more. And one more thing here you have to analyze. If you are doing this particular test case manually, you can log out and you can log in. But when you are doing it with the help of automation usually take a lot of more time than the manual goes, right? Because it needs to search for the IDs and all. It needs to search for that, search for the send button under the page and then hit on it, and then there will be a lot more background processes happening. So it will usually take a lot of time to execute, but manual will happen like comparatively faster than that. So keeping that automation also in your mind, you need to reduce your work so that it will not take a lot more time in automation. Getting my point?
Yes.
Cool. So basically that is there. So the incremental and non-incremental, the basic difference, non-incremental is an unorganized and unprioritized way of doing integration testing. Instead of prioritizing, okay, 1 2 3, these 3 features I'll do the integration testing first, then under that bunch I will add one more feature called F, then on these 4 features I'll do the integration testing. I'll test with A with B, A with C, A with F, and then C with F, D with F, something like that, right? So this is a prioritized way, whereas the non-incremental testing is totally dealing with unprioritized way, unorganized way, wherein we combine all the modules all together. Whatever we have, like all Gmail will combine, means we'll consider at one go, and we'll try to hop from one feature to another feature. We'll not prioritize, okay, this needs to be done first, it needs to be done next. We'll just try to do the integration testing with the flow, like A to D, D to F, F to H, H to L, something like that. You will not prioritize, you will just hop. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now this approach, now if you carefully see that this approach is a little bit weird. Why? Because when you are doing this approach, there might be chances you might repeat some of the scenario. There might be chances when I'm hopping from A to B, B to C, B to C, something like that. When I came back, I forgot that I have already done A to D and I'll do this A to D again. There might be chances, right?
Yes, sir.
There will be a lot more features. There might be chances I might repeat doing integration testing on some scenarios. And there is also possibility I might miss doing some of the integration testing because we are considering everything at one go. There might be chances, correct?
Yes.
So that is the drawback of doing non-incremental integration testing. There might be chances you might repeat some of the scenario. There might be chances you might basically miss doing some of the scenarios. That is there. So this is not that accurate, and that's why it is not that frequently used in our industry, but it is there. The concept is there. Okay. Coming up to the incremental integration testing. Here we consider one by one. Here we consider, first of all, we'll consider two modules. We'll consider two modules. We'll pick one module. For an example, I pick compose, and I'll start creating a bunch for it, compose, and I'll add one more module called inbox, and then I'll do the integration testing between compose and inbox. Then this is a bunch for me. You all know what is bunch, right? Bunch of keys, or this is an example. Bunch is basically a collection, right? So basically whenever I'm trying to do, right, I'll do in this way. First I took inbox, then I added one more module in that bunch, let's say spam. Then I'll do integration testing between inbox and spam. Then once I'm done with this, then I will add one more module here called trash. Then I will do integration testing between inbox and trash, spam and trash, and something like that. Once I'm done with these three, I will add one more. Then this becomes a prioritized way. One by one, you're trying to add modules in the bunch, and you're trying to do the integration testing. This way you will not miss any of the scenario, you will not repeat any of the scenario, isn't it? Because you are doing it one by one at a time, not combining all of them. Correct?
Yes.
So basic idea is that this is incremental integration testing. When you incrementally add one module and test the data flow between two modules, this approach is called as incremental integration testing. Got it?
Yes.
Basically, these two are the approaches of doing integration testing. Exactly, you will do same thing, right? You will send the data and you will receive the data at the other end, and you will test the data flow. You will do integration testing only. But how can you do integration testing? Either you can do it in a non-incremental way, wherein you try to combine all the modules and test it, or you can do it in incremental way, and wherein you just try to create a small prioritized bunch and then add one by one feature into that bunch and try to do the integration testing. Is it clear now?
Yes.
Any questions around it? Anyone? Anyone? No? Yes? Anything, guys?
So can you
No, sir.
like explain it again, incremental testing?
I'll give you one real-time example of it. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
What happens, right? When there is an organization, right? What happens there when you start giving the salaries? Nowadays it happens automatically. It get transferred with the bot, and it transferred to directly through the bank. But earlier what used to happen, the money used to flow from the top end to the bottom end, correct? The money will get transferred from the trust, it will get transferred to the chairman, and then chairman will hand over the money to headmaster, then headmaster will hand over the money to clerks, then clerks will be giving it to the head teachers, and head teachers will be handing it over to the teachers. This is how it happens, correct? The flow of
Yes,
money
sir.
in the organization. So when this kind of flow happens, right, you can, let's consider money as the data and these people as the module. Okay, so if you want to do the integration testing on this organization, you can do it in two ways. You can hop from one place to another place and try to do the integration testing. You can hop from chairman to clerk and clerk to teacher or something like that. You can check whether the money is being transferred or not. Okay, you can directly go to clerk module and you can give the money to clerk and ask clerk to send it to the teacher and check the integration testing from there. Then from this teacher to this teacher, you can hop basically. Then from this teacher, you went to chairman again, and from chairman you will try to transfer the money from chairman to headmaster, and you can do it. Got the understanding? This is non-incremental approach. Got it?
Yes, sir.
What is incremental approach? Incremental approach is basically when you prioritize. For an example, first I'll pick one particular person, for an example chairman, particular person, and then we'll add one more person in that particular group, and we do the integration testing. We ask chairman to transfer money to headmaster, and then once we are done with this group, in that particular group I will add one more person, this clerk, and I will try to do the integration testing between these three. I'll transfer money from here to here and then here to here. Okay, if there is a direct money transfer from chairman to clerk also, I'll do that. For an example, here you have a direct data transfer from inbox to trash. You can directly move a particular mail to trash, correct? So if that is the flow, I'll also test that also. Okay, so the basic idea is that these three person will be there in the group. This is the prioritization for me right now, and I will do the integration on these three. Then I will add one more person. One by one, I will incrementally add one module into that particular group or bunch and try to do the integration testing. Getting my point? Irrespective to unlike to what? Unlike to non-incremental integration testing, we are trying to hop from one particular module to another one. We are not prioritizing anything in there, correct?
Yes, sir.
Everyone got that? I want answer from everyone, please.
Yes, sir.
There is a lot more
Yes.
silent people. Introverts or what? Guys, understanding? Anyone has any kind of doubt, any questions, can bring up now? Everyone got that, right? I'll take silence as yes.
Yes.
Cool. So basic idea is that these are the two. Under incremental integration testing, we do have two more. Okay, we do have two more under incremental integration testing. First one is top down and second one is bottom up. Top down and bottom up. As the name suggested, how it works, if you are doing it in this way, right, top down way, so you will add one by one module at the bottom of this particular group, and then you will try to test the data flow from top to bottom. And bottom up is just reverse of it. You will start from the lower module and you try to add one by one module at the top, and you will try to do what? You will try to do the integration testing bottom to up. Now the catch here is, whenever you are trying to do the top down, you need to make sure whatever module, you can see it here, right? The module is like this, right? Inbox and spam and trash. Inbox will send the data to spam, and spam will send the data to trash. This way we are testing. Inbox is the parent module. Why parent module of spam? Because spam can't generate a data. Spam will rely on inbox in order to get the data. Same goes to trash. Trash can't have a data by itself. It needs to have data from either inbox or spam. Okay, getting my point? So this becomes the data dependency on the previous feature. This will become the child module of the previous feature. This will become parent and this will become child. So whenever you are doing the top down, whenever you are adding the module in the bunch, you just need to make sure you are adding the child module, immediate child of the previously added module. For an example, these two are the one who we are considering in the group. We tested it. We are done with this. Now it's a time to add one more module. So whenever we are trying to add one more module, we have to make sure this module is the immediate child of the spam. Got it? And what is the immediate child means? Basically direct data dependency on the previously added feature. Got it? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
And you will definitely do test the flow in this way, top to down. That's why it is called as top down incremental integration testing. And the other way around is basically the reverse of it. Whenever you are adding a module, you need to add the parent again and again and again on top of this, basically. Okay, and then you will go the testing in this way, bottom to up. Send the data from trash to spam or trash to inbox. Okay, just reverse of top down. This will go through tomorrow also. Why? Because I have just given the overview. Today I think that there is a lot that we have covered and you guys are overwhelmed a bit, so we don't cover it today, but I have given you a high level understanding. Okay,
Yes, sir.
cool. Any questions before we wrap it up for today? One request to all of you is basically try to do the assignment. I see only one person is doing the assignment. This is beneficial for you. This is being designed in such a way that you guys will be groomed your it will groom your skills, right? So if you are not doing the assignment, you're not taking it seriously, you will not get that groomed and you will not get that better skills that you can have as an output of these classes. So please try to do the assignment so that we can understand and you can also understand what you guys are comfortable with and what you guys are not understanding properly, so that we can fix it out, right? So please go through the PPTs, go through the assignments which we used to give, and try to analyze yourself. It will help us analyze you also, okay, and help you also. Chalega sabko? Are we
Yeah.
comfortable, guys?
Yes, sir.
Cool.
Yes.
चलो ठीक है, कल मिलते हैं. Like everyone is comfortable in Hindi. Anyone who is not comfortable in Hindi here?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so comfortable.
Okay, cool. So upon like if any point of time, right, you feel like you are not getting something in English, because we are like damn familiar with our native language and we used to understand better in our native languages, right? So if you feel like नहीं यार ये concept को अगर हिंदी में बता देते ना तो बहुत अच्छे से समझ में आ जाता, तो मैं वो भी कर सकता हूँ, बताना मेरे को तो मैं कर दूंगा। ऐसा इसमें कोई शाय फील करने का जरूरत नहीं है कि भाई अंग्रेजी नहीं बोल पा रहे हैं, हम भी नहीं बोल पाते थे जब हम स्टार्ट किए थे, तो इसका कोई लाइक इतना बड़ा बात नहीं है। तो बोलना अगर लगेगा तो विल ट्राई टू डू दैट बिकॉज इवेंचुअली व्हाट इज द गोल? द गोल इज टू मेक यू अंडरस्टैंड कॉन्सेप्ट इन अ बेटर वे एट अ बेटर लेवल, जो कोई भी और कर रहा है उससे ज्यादा अच्छा करना। तो अगर इसके लिए तुमको दूसरी लैंग्वेज में समझाना पड़ेगा तो चलेगा, और सबके लिए बेटर है मेरे ख्याल से। तो वो अगर ऐसे तुम बोलते हो और कोई शाय फील कर रहा है कि नहीं भाई पूछने के लिए थोड़ा लग रहा है, तो वो उसके लिए भी बेनिफिशियल रहेगा। तो इफ यू फील दैट जस्ट गो अहेड, विल ट्राई टू एक्सप्लेन। ठीक है?
Okay, sir. You can, sir. Take it in Hindi.
Yeah, we can like no, we'll I'm not taking it in Hindi altogether, but yeah, if certain topics if you feel like no explain in Hindi, then we'll go with Hindi. Okay, we'll first explain it English only, then if someone feels like please can you repeat it in Hindi, I'll explain it. Okay,
Okay, not an issue.
cool. Okay, why? Because no, I've seen a lot more people, they will definitely get 80% or 70% with English, but when I start speaking in Hindi, they'll get 95% of that particular concept, and they're that time they will be like, oh, I'm very much confident now because I have understood everything properly. I want that confidence in you, whatever it takes. Okay, what it takes, it makes me to like say like let's say show you in a live example or something like that. Whatever it takes, we'll try to do it. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. I'll send the PPT for sure. Cool. See you guys. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone. Have a great day.
Bye, sir. Thank you.